We followed Gary Johnson and Jill Stein during their 2016 presidential campaigns. Here is our episode 4 postscript.
When you're looking at third-party candidates, you learn early on that this is a pretty common pattern. It even has a name, the third-party fade. Part of it is a byproduct of the first-past-the-post voting system that our country currently uses. As the election nears, voters start thinking more strategically, and many will choose the leading candidate that they disagree with the least. Now, there's no guarantee that this actually happens, it's just very likely. In fact, me acknowledging that the fade is normal right now is part of why it happens, but we're going to cover that a little bit more in our next episode. Certainly not on their own, but they did play a big role. There's a huge drop-off in support and in the polls after the debates had started. Whether it's intentional or not, if a candidate is not invited to the debates, a message is being sent to the country telling them that this person is not a finalist worthy of massive media attention. And that's when people really start to lose hope. This is a consequence of the Commission on Presidential Debates having a threshold that only people with incredible name recognition can pass. Political stances aside, I really admire their passion and energy. Being a third-party supporter isn't an easy thing to do. Ridicule, frustration, failure, it all comes with the territory. So to go out there and campaign for an underdog, because it's that voice you want to see in this democracy, rather than being just an apathetic citizen, there's something to really admire there. Yes and no. They probably didn't hit their ceilings, but they did better than anyone else since 1996. Gaffes and policy flaws did hurt their credibility, but all candidates deal with those. Keep in mind, Johnson and Stein had to make themselves personally vulnerable to all media opportunities. They exposed themselves to more opportunities for missteps. They had to. Trump mocked a handicapped reporter, degraded a female journalist. The list goes on. Clinton called half the voter base deplorable and didn't expose herself to a press conference for 275 days. That's highly unusual for a presidential campaign. But they are protected by the advantages of surrogates, speechwriters, intelligence briefings, and probably biggest of all, they had partisanship on their side. The Green Party and Libertarian candidates had different ceilings, so we focused on different things. Gary Johnson had a strong chance at making the debates, so we focused on him. Jill Stein was more about hitting the 5% to help bolster the party. Down-ballot Libertarian candidates and infrastructure do exist. And as you'll see in our next episode, hope to benefit from this extra attention moving forward.